Welcome to the viewers for the lecture in the subject structural analysis. Now this is lecture number 109, in which we will discuss about the strain energy method for the analysis of pin jointed trusses. Actually this is a very delayed lecture because many viewers wanted me to give a lecture on analysis of trusses by strain energy method. Some viewers have asked me to do lecture on method of joints, method of sections, and some more lectures are pending. Now this problem will combine the analysis of a pin jointed truss by strain energy method. Also we are going to make the structure as determinate, and we are going to adopt method of joints for the analysis. Therefore partly it will serve both types of viewers, and other things will be continued subsequently, right? Now coming to the topic, in the case of trusses we are going to analyze indeterminate trusses, redundant trusses. So to find out the degree of redundancy, a truss may be externally redundant or internally redundant. Externally redundant means have got more number of reaction components. Suppose the truss is a continuous one resting on 3 or 4 supports, then there will be more number of reaction components. If it is a hinge, there will be 2 reactions. If it is a roller, you will have 1 reaction. Depending upon the number of hinges and number of rollers, suppose if there are 6 unknowns, say 2 hinges, 2 into 2, 4 reactions, and 2 rollers, that means 4 plus 2, 6 unknowns. But we have got only 3 equations of equilibrium: sigma V equals 0, sigma H equals 0, and sigma M equal to 0. So 6 reactions, 3 equations of equilibrium, therefore there are 3 excess reactions. So the structure will be externally redundant to 3 degrees, externally indeterminate to 3 degrees. Similarly, the structure can be internally redundant also. Internally redundant means has got more number of members than what is required for its equilibrium and stability. If the number of members required is 6, if the number of members actually provided are 8, then there are 2 members. So when we have got more number of members, the structure is called internally redundant. But the thing is, a structure can be both externally redundant as well as internally redundant. There may be one external redundancy, one internal redundancy, it can be. So we must be able to analyze any type of structure. Not only this. So this is for the external forces, and in addition, as far as trusses are concerned, there are other problems. Namely, a particular member may be during fabrication, may be little extra in length or little shortage in length. So during the erection of the truss or fabrication of the truss, a particular member, instead of 4 meters, the member may be 3.995 meters, 5 mm shortage, or it may be 4.007 meter, maybe 7 mm longer. Therefore, when it is not of the required length, little shortage in length or little excess in length, fixing the member in the position itself will cause problem. That is what is called lack of fit. Anyway, it is too early. Lack of fit. So even when it is not loaded, when you fit in the member in position, suppose if it is of short in length, then you have to pull it and fix it in position. Because for 3 mm or 4 mm or 5 mm, you cannot go for one more member. That has to be fixed in position by pulling or by compressing. So shortage in length means you have to elongate and fix it in position. Suppose if it is excess in length, then we have to compress it and fix it in position. So anyway, it will have lack of fit. Instead of 4 meters, maybe less than 4 meters, or maybe 4. So this is one type of problem. So in this case, when it has got lack of fit, fixing that member in the position itself will cause stresses in all other members, even without external loading. So that is another type of problem. Right. Still, there is one more problem, namely members subjected to temperature. The arrangement of the structure may be such that a particular member may be in contact with some medium which causes temperature increase or temperature decrease. Particular may be in contact with some medium, right? So the member will be subjected to a rise in temperature or fall in temperature. When it is subjected to rise in temperature, it will elongate. The elongation will be the length of the member L naught alpha into T. L naught is the length of the member subjected to rise in temperature or fall in temperature. Alpha is the coefficient of linear expansion. T is the temperature increase or temperature decrease. So accordingly, you will have to use a plus sign or minus sign. If there is temperature increase, you have to use minus sign. If there is temperature decrease, you have to use plus sign. So this we will discuss later. L naught alpha T. So this is another case of lack of fit. So here lack of fit, say let it be delta. Delta may be plus or delta may be minus. If the member is excess in length, you have to use minus sign. If the member is short in length, then you have to use plus sign. So plus or minus, the sign is to be. Therefore, in the place of delta, you have to use L naught alpha into T. So there again, even without any external force, the member will be getting elongated or getting shortened depending upon whether it is temperature rise or temperature fall. So that is another. So these are the so many things that we'll have to deal with as far as trusses are concerned. Externally indeterminate, internally indeterminate, lack of fit, temperature stresses. Anyway, so that is about the outline. Right. Now coming to the degree of redundancy, I told you that the truss may be externally redundant or internally redundant. To find out the redundancy, we use the formula I equal to, if a truss is simple and starting from a simple base, the formula is I equal to m minus 2j minus 3. I equal to m minus 2j minus 3, where m is the number of members, j is the number of joints, and I equal to indeterminacy. Suppose you take a truss like this. A truss like this. This has got a truss like this. And let us forget about the loading. We will discuss the loading later. Now, for this truss, you have to find out the redundancy. I equal to m is the number of members. So members are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members. There are 6 members. 6 members. Then coming to joints, there are so all joints are assumed to be pin joints. We know in the analysis of a truss, we assume all joints to be, all members are connected by pin joints. Pin joints, the members will carry either tension or compression only, no member will take bending moment. This is our assumption at the beginning. Actually, in the actual structure, they are not pin joints. In the analysis of so many structures, we make so many assumptions. See, suppose we take the analysis of a column, we assume that the column is perfectly straight. The load passes through the center of gravity of the cross section of the column. So like that, every topic we make some simplifying assumptions. So here also, they are not pin joints. We used to see wooden trusses, steel trusses, and so on, concrete trusses and so on. All joints are not at all pin joints. We make some simplified analysis, we make simplified assumptions. So we adopt some factor of safety. So the error is within the limit, the structure stands, that's all. But yes, that is a fact that we have to accept. So we assume all joints are pin joints, but it is not the actual case, right? Pin joints. Therefore, the members will be either under compression, because when the bending moment is zero at all these joints, the members will be either under compression or under tension only, no bending moment, right? So coming to joints, 2 into j, 1, 2, 3, 4 joints. So this is crossing. This should not be treated as a joint. So crossing of two members, that is not a joint, right? So 2 into 4 minus 3 equal to 6 minus 5 equal to 1. So that means the member has got, the truss has got one extra member than it is required. That is internal redundancy. Coming to external redundancy, E equal to R minus R. Now this R stands for the number of reactions. So in a pin joint, hinged joint, there will be two possible reactions depending upon the load. So there will be a vertical reaction, there will be a horizontal reaction. That depends upon the number of the loads, right? Because there is no horizontal force means there will be no horizontal reaction. So that will get, in a general structure, 2 plus 1 equal to 3. There are 3 reaction components. We have got 3 equations of equilibrium. So that is capital R equal to 3, therefore it is 0. So as far as this truss is concerned, it is externally determinate. Internally, it has got one member, one external. Therefore, the total redundancy equal to I plus E equal to 1 plus 0 equal to 1. This structure is totally indeterminate to 1 degree. So this is one. This is a simple truss starting from simple supports. So this formula is applicable. So this we have. This is one formula, right? Now coming to the next type of truss. Suppose if you take a truss like this, a cantilever truss, maybe a triangle like this. Say yes, suppose this is a truss. It is a truss starting from a rigid base. Rigid base. It is starting from fixed base. The truss may be like this, or the truss may be like this. On a rigid joint, it may be like this. These are all trusses starting from a rigid base. Rigid base. Now, for which, when the truss starts from a rigid base, the formula to be used is I equal to M minus 2J. M minus 2J. This formula is to be used. Therefore, for this, I equal to M minus 2J. M, number of members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 members. There are 14 members. So starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 members. 14 members. Coming to number of joints, so this is one joint. This is one joint. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 joints, 7 pin joints. So 2 into 7 equal to 0. That means the truss is statically determinate. Suppose if you have got one member extra like this, one member like this, another member like this, then it will be indeterminate to 2 degrees. Therefore, when the truss is made up of simple triangles like this, the truss will be determinate. On just seeing the truss, we can find out. Now here there are 2 extra members. Therefore, this will become 16, and therefore this will become 2 because of 2 extra diagonal members. So like that we have to find out the degree of indeterminacy. So here we need not bother about the external redundancy. Now coming to this truss is I equal to m minus 2j. Now here there is only one joint. This is a fixed joint. So here it is pin jointed. So there are 3 members. M equal to 3 minus 2 into j equal to 1 equal to 1. This truss is indeterminate to 1 degrees. Therefore, so that is how you will have to make use of this formula, m minus 2j, when the truss starts from a rigid base, right? And E, of course, already we have used external redundancy equal to small r minus capital R. So to start with, so this is how you will have to find out the degree of static indeterminacy. So in the analysis by strain energy method, first thing is you have to, as we have done in the case of beams and portal frames, the first work is to find out the degree of static indeterminacy. Right. So this will rub off. Right. Now, we know there are 4 types of forces to which a member in a structure will be subjected to. We have discussed at the beginning of the strain energy method. The member, depending upon the external load and depending upon the position of the member, a member may be subjected to axial force, bending moment, twisting moment, and a shear force. So depending upon the structure, we consider the respective forces and proceed with the design. In the case of beams and portal frames, we have considered bending as the predominant force. We have differentiated only with respect to bending. The strain energy due to bending alone was considered, integral m square dx by 2ea. That alone was considered, other terms we have omitted. Now coming to trusses, the members will be subjected to only axial forces. Will be axial tension or axial compression. And the strain energy due to axial force, we know, is given by U equal to integral F square L by 2AE. AE is the axial rigidity. In the case of bending, we have used EI. EI is the flexural rigidity. So these members, so this is axial rigidity. So maybe we might have discussed earlier, it is P square into dx by 2AE. This is the formula we have discussed at the beginning. Now here we have integrated from 0 to L. Therefore this has become L. And in the place of P we have used F. You can use P also. It is, if you know that this is axial force, that will be enough. P square L, that is integrated over the length, and 2AE. This is what already we know. Right. Now we are dealing with redundant trusses. Now, let us say for clarity, let us take this as the redundant member. See, because first of all, you have to find out the degree of indeterminacy. And then the job is to make the structure statically determinate. When I equal to 1, you have to remove any one member, make the structure statically determinate. That is why I told you, once you make the structure determinate, you are going to analyze by method of joins. So the viewers who wanted a method of joins also, it will be partially satisfying the requirement, right? So we have to remove, right? Now this formula f into dou f by dou t into AE equal to 0, because we are going to say that displacement is equal to 0. That will give you the partial derivative of total strain energy with respect to a particular force. I will tell you what is T. So summation of f into dou f by dou t into L by AE. L by AE equal to 0. That will give you the axial displacement. That axial displacement is equal to 0. If I take this member or this member, you may have some doubt. Let us treat this member as redundant. Treat the horizontal member as redundant. Or any member, this it is same, right? Right. Now this member is removed. You find out the value of F. F is the force in various members due to the external force. So first work is make the structure statically determinate. That is, remove any one member and make the structure statically determinate. Find out the force in various members. That is what is called F. Find out the value in all members. F into then dou f by dou t. The reason is, now we have got different methods. One is strain energy method, the other one is unit load method. So every method, the procedure is slightly different. Now as far as strain energy method is concerned, we remove the redundant member and apply a force equal to T along the member. Suppose if I remove the member, suppose this is the truss given, this is the determinate truss, I have removed this member, then along the removed member you apply a force equal to T. This is in the strain energy method. Remove the member to make it determinate. Along the redundant member you apply unit tensile force or unit compressive force. So this is the truss. That is given, and it may be subjected to some external load. So we have to analyze the truss for the external load plus the redundant simultaneously. Therefore, the force in all members will be in terms of the external force, and also it will be in terms of T. So only one method of joints will solve the problem. If it is unit load method, that will be different. That is, we will be analyzing only for the external force. Later we will be applying unit force along the force. Make one more analysis. You have to carry out the method of joints 2 times or 3 times, depending upon the degree of static indeterminacy. Now here there is only 1 degree of redundancy. Therefore, you have to remove the excess member, make the structure statically determinate, apply a force equal to T or C, no problem, along the direction of the redundant member, and analyze by method of joints. Right? So all force terms will be in terms of both external force and also in terms of T. Right. Completing. You just tabulate the values. So one column for member, one column for serial number, one column for F, one column for dou F by dou T, length, area, Young's modulus, etc. For all these things you have to provide columns and do the calculations. Sum up everything, including the redundant member. In the tabulation, what about the redundant member? That redundant member also will have to be included. That is, including the redundant member. Including the redundant, you have to calculate for all values. Sum up everything. So, when you equate them to 0, because the displacement partial derivative of the total strain energy with respect to T will give you the displacement. Now here the displacement is 0, therefore sigma F into dou F by dou T into L by AE equal to 0. That is the Castigliano's second theorem. second theorem. So when that is equated to 0, we will be getting the redundant force T. We can obtain the value of T. Once if we get the value of T, we will be writing serial number, member, then F, then dou F by dou T. For all these things we will be providing columns. So this will tell you what are the columns that are required, right? Now here all these F values will be in terms of T also. It will be external force plus T. Once if you find out the value of T, in the last column you can add the final force. In the final force column, wherever T is there, you substitute this value of T here, that will give you the final force. That will give you the final force. That is the procedure. So that is in the strain energy method. Now we will take up a numerical example. Now here I'll read the problem and directly give you the sketch. Now this is a truss that is to be analyzed. This is of length 4 meters. This is 3 meters. A, B, C, D. Now this carries a load of 30 kilonewton. This carries a load of 20 kilonewton. And another 20 kilonewton. And that's about the dimensions and also the external forces. So this is given in the problem. The question is find the stresses in all members of the frame. That means you have to find out the axial load in all members of the frame given in the figure, in which the cross-sectional area of vertical members are 3000 mm square, and cross-sectional area of other members, let us write it briefly, 2200 mm square. Vertical members means this is for AB and CD. This is the area. For all other members, 2000. Of course, this will be required only in the tabulation. When you tabulate the values, since areas are different, you have to provide one column for area also. If area is same, you need not provide a column, because you need not unnecessarily multiply all by the same area and waste your time. Now here areas are different, you have to provide a column for area also, right? And Young's modulus is given. E value is given as 2 into 10 power 5. E is given as 2 into 10 power 5 Newton per mm square. And that's all. Use the strain energy method. That's all. Use the strain energy method, find out the force in various members. So that's about the given data. And all these things are given in the form of figure. Now we have to analyze the truss by method of, a strain energy method. So we know, first we have to find out the degree of static indeterminacy, which already we have completed, that the internal indeterminacy equal to 1, externally it is determinate, therefore total equal to 1. That is, we have already got it for this truss. The truss is internally indeterminate to 1 degree. So the first job is to make the structure as a primary structure or statically determinate structure. Now you can treat any one member as redundant. You can treat AD as redundant or DC as redundant, or any one member you can remove. Let us conveniently treat the diagonal member as redundant member. So this is the given truss. Now this is the determinate truss. We have removed one member and made the truss statically determinate. Now, in strain energy method, you have to remove the redundant member and apply a tensile force T or compressive force along the redundant member. So this is the direction of the redundant member. Along the direction, apply a force equal to T. Apply a force equal to T from both sides. Apply a force equal to T. This we have to do it. Now we can go for method of joints. Right. So now before going to the method of joints, we have to find out the reactions. So because you can start your method of joints from any point, but without reaction you cannot. So you have to find out the reactions, satisfy all the equations of equilibrium, and then only we have to go to the method of joints. Now here there is a horizontal force. So sigma H equal to 0 gives, because there is only one horizontal force. There must be equal and opposite horizontal force. So equal and opposite horizontal force, this cannot take, because this is a roller support. Here we cannot apply a horizontal force. Therefore only at joint A you can apply a force. So this is equal to 30. This is the reaction. So H A equal to 30 kilonewton. This is in the opposite direction. This we have to find out. Therefore these two satisfies sigma H equal to 0. Right. What about the vertical reactions? Vertical reaction VA and also VD. Now let us take moment about D. That is taking moments about D. VA into 4 meters plus 30 into 3 meters, that is horizontal force into vertical distance, 30 into 3, minus this 20 into 4 meters, minus 20 into 4 meters, minus 20 into 0, because this pass through the point, this load it passed through the point D, therefore that will not cause any moment. I think we have considered all the forces, and similarly this horizontal reaction pass through the point D, that also will not cause any moment. So this 30, this 20 will not cause any moment, because both when it is extended pass through the same point. So perpendicular distance equal to 0. Therefore this is VA into 4 minus 20 into 4 minus 30, because VA into 4 is clockwise, this is also clockwise. VA into 4 is clockwise, 30 into 3 is clockwise, 20 into 4 is anti-clockwise, and here it passed through the point, equal to 0. So this will give you VA equal to 4VA equal to 90, on the other side it is minus 90 plus 80, and that one is 0. This is already 0, equal to minus 10. Therefore, VA equal to minus 10 by 4 equal to minus 2.5 kilonewton. Minus 2.5 kilonewton. VA equal to minus 2.5 kilonewton. That means this is downwards. When this is downwards, we should not try to change the arrow, because the equation that is written is on the assumption that it is vertically upward. So what you can do is, you can say minus 2.5, or you can draw another diagram. In that you can mark it downwards, the reaction to be, either you mark it upwards and say it is minus 2.5, or in the next diagram you can mark the arrow downwards and say 2.5. So that is one reaction, right? Then sigma V equal to 0 gives the value of Vd. That is, what you do is, you have to say one is VA, then the other one is 20. VA is actually marked in the upward direction, minus 20, because this is upwards, 20 down, these are the, and along with this, when RB is added, the algebraic sum must be equal to 0, or VA is minus 2.5, minus 40 equal to 0. So that is, that is, here we have to make a small correction. That is, in addition to this, you have to add VD also. Sigma V equal to 0 plus VD equal to 0. So VD equal to 0. Therefore, plus VD equal to 0, or VD equal to, when it is taken to the right hand side, 42.5 kilonewton. So in the upward, so we are getting with the plus sign. Therefore, this reaction here is VD equal to 42.5 kilonewton. 42.5. So that's about the reaction. Now we have satisfied sigma V equals 0, sigma H equals 0, and sigma M equals 0. Only after satisfying all these three equilibrium conditions, we have to go for method of joints. So this is a very important point in the analysis of truss. Right. Now we are ready to do method of joints. Method of joints, you can start from any joint having not more than two unknowns, because for solving this we are going to make use of sigma V equal to 0 and sigma H equal to 0. That's all. No moment. Algebraic sum of all the forces in the vertical direction equal to 0. Algebraic sum of all the forces in the horizontal direction must be equal to 0. So any joint, we are going to do it joint by joint. We are going to make use of only these two conditions. Therefore, you have to start from a joint having not more than two unknowns. Right. Now, we cannot start from here, because there are three unknowns. That is, member DC, force is unknown. The force in the member DB is unknown. The force in the member DA is also unknown. So, three members you cannot start. Right. You can start from any other joint. You can start from D, because we have got all the reactions. Now we can do it from any point. Now let us start from joint A. Let us start from joint A. Because joint A, you have got two known reactions, and this is a force. It is a redundant force T. Redundant force T. This is what you are going to find out. But the force in the member AB and the force in the member AD will be in terms of T also. Therefore, unknowns are only two. One is AB, the other one is AD. So, you mark all the details around joint A. So, let us take joint A. Joint A. Now, joint A, you have got a vertical member, you have got a horizontal member, you have got an inclined force T. This is A. Now there is a horizontal reaction equal to 30 kilonewton. Mark all the forces, all the reactions and all details around the joint. So here what you can do is, you can mark the arrow in the upward direction and make it as minus 2.5, or here you can do it like this also. You can just mark it down and say plus 2.5. That is also correct. Now here you should not change, because your equation is based on reaction in the upward direction. So now there you can change, because you assume in the upward direction this value is negative, you can just mark it as downward reaction 2.5 kilonewton. Right. So this is AB. So initially you assume all members to be under tension. All members to be under tension means mark away from the joint. That is, from here, if it is a tensile force, mark it away. If it is a compressive force, mark it towards the joint. So similarly, if this is tensile, compressive and compressive. Compressive means towards the joint. Tensile means away from the joint. So this is a basic that everybody may be knowing. So here, initially we will assume all the members, because we do not know which is under compression, which is under tension. Even if it is known, better you mark this as tension. Because you are marking the details around the joint. So you all mean this joint only. So away from the joint. This is F, A, D, because this is member D. Now here, this also you mark it as tension, because we do not know. So this is F, A, B. Like this, you mark the details. Then coming to the angle. So you find out this angle. This angle is 3 by 4 equal to, so let us call this as theta. Theta, that is tan theta, equal to 3 by 4. Opposite side by adjacent side. Opposite side is 3 meters, adjacent side is 4 meters, tan theta. Therefore, this will give you the value of theta. Theta equal to tan inverse of 3 by 4. Tan inverse of 3 by 4, and that value 36 degree 52 minutes. 36 degrees, theta equal to 36 degrees 52 minutes. 36 degree 52 minutes. So this theta is 36 degree 52 minutes. And always mark the angle both with the horizontal and the vertical. It is that will simplify your work. I will tell you, that will simplify your work. Now this value equal to 90 minus 36. 90 minus 36. So this will be 53 degree 08 minutes. Mark the angle both with vertical and horizontal. That will simplify your work. Right. So that's about the angle. Now what we have done is, we have marked all the details around joint A. That's all. Right. So certain things will have more number of terms like this. Certain joints will be easier. So after all, we are going to analyze only 3 joints. That is, if you analyze A, B and C, the values will be automatically, when you analyze A, you will get the force in this member. When you analyze B, you will get the force in this member. When you analyze C, you will get the force in this. Therefore, analysis for D will not be required. N minus 1 joints. So there are 4 joints. So analysis of 3 joints will solve your problem. Therefore, so like that you have to just mark the angle with the vertical and the horizontal. Right. Now coming to method of joints, as I told you, it is sigma V equals 0 and sigma H equals 0. Right. Now, first let us say sigma V equal to 0. Sigma V equal to 0 gives, one is 2.5, you can, it is minus, either you can just, any sign convention can be followed. If you start with this as the plus sign, whatever is opposite you can mark it with the minus sign. There is no need for any specific sign convention. I have started 2.5 downwards as plus, no problem. And now this will be minus. So minus FAB, it is a vertical member, minus T into, so here generally people will find it difficult whether to go for sin theta or cos theta. If you mark theta only with horizontal, you have to go for T into sin theta. Now since we have marked both with vertical and horizontal, my way of doing this is T into, when you want vertical component, it is T into cos of its angle with the vertical. If you want to find out the horizontal component, T into cos of the angle with the horizontal. Right. Now I am resolving the vertical direction, therefore T into cos of its angle with the vertical, 53 degree, not 8 minutes. So I will not use sin theta. Right. So 2.5 we have considered, this we have considered FAB, this we have considered T into cos 53 not 8 we have considered. The other two are, one is a horizontal member, the other one is a horizontal force. So the horizontal, so the angle with the vertical is 90 degrees. Therefore, FAD into cos 90 will be 0, 30 into cos 90 is also 0. Therefore, you need not bother about the horizontal members because we are resolving in the vertical direction. So cos 90 will become 0. So this is equal to 0. So this is vertical, this is also vertical. So this will give you the value of FAB equal to 2.5 minus 0.6 T. So that is, so it will be in terms of this value plus this value minus this value. So that is sigma V equal to 0. For one member you have got the, of course it is in terms of the redundant that we have to find out. You have to find out the value of T. Once you find out the value of T, you can find out the force in the member AB. Right. So this is one. Then next sigma H equal to 0. Sigma H equal to 0. Resolving all the forces in the horizontal direction. One is 30. 30 is towards left. Let us say minus. Not necessary, anything. You have to start from something, whatever is in the opposite direction, use minus. So let me start, because the force is towards left, I am just using minus sign. Then FAD is plus. FAD, we have assumed this to be already in the, as a tensile force, therefore plus. Then T into, that also, since we have assumed this to be tensile, when this is resolved in the horizontal direction, it will give you a component towards right. Therefore, plus T into cos of its angle with the horizontal. That is cos 36 degree 52 minutes. Cos 36 degree 52 minutes. 52 minutes. So this is also towards right. Equal to 0. These are the only three forces, because 2.5 will not give any horizontal component, this also will not, because with the horizontal, this angle is 90 degrees, so cos 90 will become 0. Therefore, that's about the 3 members. Then that will give you FAD. This is the only unknown. FAD equal to 30 minus 0.8t. So this is one value. So this is one force. This is another. All forces will be in terms of the external force, and that are the redundant T. All will be, because we are including T in the determinate structure, it will be in terms of the external force and the redundant. Now, and I think the time may not permit, because already I have taken around 50 minutes. Therefore, if I do the complete problem, it will take more than 1 hour. So this is briefly to introduce method of joints. I will go fast, complete the procedure, and since we have spent some time at the beginning for the introduction, we could not complete the problem. In the next numerical example, there will be no need for any introduction. I will do a full problem so that the viewers can understand. Anyway, before doing that, I will just explain for one more case. Let us take joint B. How to analyze, I will tell you. Right. Now joint B. So this is joint B. This is B. In joint B, you got a lateral force 30. Then you got a vertical force 20. Here you got a 20 kilonewton force. Then you got a vertical member BA. Now from B it is BA. Now for this you know the force BA. Already you got the force, namely 25. So this is we have assumed this tensile. So here also we will assume this to be tensile. From joint B it is tensile. The force is 2.5 minus 0.60. This force is known. Then you got a horizontal member. This is BC. We assume this to be tensile. This is FBC. And you got another member BD. So this is also tensile. We assume initially all members to be under tension. When this is 36 degree 52 minutes, this value will also be equal to 36:52. So this value will be 36 degree 52 minutes, and this angle will be 53 degree 08 minutes. So we have marked all details around joint B. All members, all forces, all reactions, everything, because this is already known. In the previous step we have calculated this to be tensile. We have not changed the direction. As it is, FAB equal to 2.5 minus 0.60. So the unknowns are only FBC and FBD. Other things are known in some form or other. Now here we have to apply sigma V equals 0, sigma H equals 0. One will give, first let us take sigma V equals 0. Because if we take sigma H equals 0 at the beginning, this component will be there, this will also be there. Therefore, you will be getting one equation in terms of FBC and FBD. Then if you apply sigma V equals 0, you will be able to solve FBD. FBD you have to apply for FBC and get it. Or Directly, if you use sigma V equals 0 first, you will be getting the value of sigma FBD. Of course, it will be in terms of T. Get FBD, you will be getting. FBC will not come into the picture, 90 degrees, it will not come into the picture. Then if you solve for FBC, you will get the, so all the forces will be in terms of some number and in terms of T. Some number and terms of T. Similarly, this will also be like that only. So this we have to do, and one more analysis for joint C. So this is to help you to do the analysis for joint D. This will give you the idea. So every joint you have to mark one by one, mark all the details around the joint, mark the angle both with horizontal and vertical. For this inclined member, if you want to find out the horizontal component, it is FBD into cos of its angle with the horizontal. If you want to find out the vertical component of this, FBD into cos of its angle with the vertical. Cos of its angle, need not worry about sin theta. So that is how you will have to just find out the force in the various members. I will just try to finish off this problem in another 5 minutes, so that we will elaborately discuss this method of joints in the next lecture, because initially I had to introduce the topic, therefore we have spent a lot of time on that. Anyway, we will do, I will just do number of problems, the viewers need not worry. Right. Now you have to open out the columns. So the columns you can just open out only after doing two more joints, joint B and joint C, then only you can do. But still for, so serial number, then member F as given in the formula, F, then dou F by dou T, because we know the formula sigma F into dou F by dou T into L by AE equal to 0. This is the formula that we have discussed at the beginning. So we have opened the column for this, we have opened for the column for this, and L is different. Sometimes here L is different, therefore for L you have to open out one column, then area is also different. So area you have to open out one column, because for vertical members area is given as 3000 mm square and horizontal members it is 2200, therefore for that also you have to open out, and Young's modulus is same, therefore you need not open out a column for Young's modulus, because for all members E is same. So you can add everything, finally the sum you can divide by E, therefore there is no need for Young's modulus. A column is not necessary for Young's modulus. And here for want of space, because I cannot exceed this, I just open out column below. The next column is F into dou F by dou T into L by A, and that is one column, and the final force P equal to that is F plus, even that is not necessary, because final force is available in the form of P here. This is in terms of T. We are going to find out the value of T. Right. Now, after opening out these two columns, so this column will come here and this column will come here. For want of space, I will written down. Alright, you have to just write down all the values. I am rushing, so right. So serial number 1, 2, 3, etc., including the redundant. You have to write down all the 6 members. This has to include all the, including the redundant member. Including the redundant member, the force equal to T, that's all. The force will be T. That also we have to include. So that is why I specifically told including the redundant. So you just member AB, member BC, and so on. You have to write all members. F. Now for AB, the force is 2.5 minus 0.60. 0.60 already we have. Right. Now, dou F by dou T will be, when you partially differentiate with respect to T, it is minus 0.6. 0.6. The length of the member AB is 3 meters. Units, you will have to be very careful. All forces in terms of kilonewton, all distances in terms of meter. That means area also you have to find out in terms of meter. Or you convert this in terms of millimeter. You make this as 3000. So that area also in terms of millimeter square. So units you will have to be careful. So that you can just find out. Now you have F dou F by dou T, L, A, all values you have. Multiply this and write down the value here. Write down the value here. Similarly, for BC, CD, DC, etc., everything you just write, and this column you have to add. For all the 6 members, you add the values. So this will give you sigma F and dou F by dou T into L by A, you will be getting this value. Right. 1 by E of this value will give you F into dou F by dou T L by AE. So you will be getting this value. Now this value equal to 0. That is our condition. This value equal to 0. So when you equate the sum, the algebraic sum of all these values, and equate it to 0, you will be getting the value of T. When that is equated to 0, you will be getting the numerical value for T. That is the value of the redundant force. If it is coming with the positive sign, member is under tension. If it is coming with the negative sign, member is under compression. Therefore, that we have to find out. Then, coming to the final force, you have the value of F here. In this, T is the only unknown. Substitute the value of T in this equation. You will be getting the final force. That's all. Substitute the value of T, you will be getting the final force. Similarly, second member, it will be in terms of T. Substitute the value of T in this equation, you will be getting this value. That is how we have to find out the final force in various members. Actually, this will take another 15-20 minutes. So, for want of time, I am stopping with this because you have touched 1 hour. Therefore, I don't want to prolong this. So, next numerical example, without introduction, we will start. We will be able to do a full problem. And that is about this lecture. So, thank you for your patience.